Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. I'm Akram. Joining with me is my commander, Dylan. Dylan, how are we today?
Praise be.
Praise be. May the Lord open. Today, we're going to review Handmaid's Tale, one of my favorite shows. I got Dylan into it. Dylan has a lot of good thoughts about it. So, without further ado, Dylan, let's get right into it.
Yeah, well, I'm still catching up. I'm currently on season 2, but this first two episodes of season 5 are great. I'm glad to see June. I mean, it was kind of a bit of a spoiler for me, but I like to see that we're down the line that she's gonna have a great story arc. We saw the return of some of our favorite characters like Serena Waterford, um, and Nick also. Yeah. Without further ado, what are your thoughts on these 2 episodes?
Yeah, it's been so long since season 4, right?
4.
It's
Hmm.
been so long. I have to admit, I wasn't a big fan of season 4. This season, though, I think it's gonna get intense. I think it's gonna get even more toxic. It's like a war on two fronts. It seems like it's going to happen pretty soon between June and Serena. And of course, everyone loves Esther. We get a little bit more screen time of Esther. I hope things will go okay for her. I don't know. But yeah, so I just wanted to ask you, starting off, we start with the repercussions of season 4, where June goes sees Nicole after killing the commander, right, Mr. Waterford. And so, what were your thoughts on like that whole interaction? I thought that everyone was gonna leave her, but everybody was like so like just trying to help her out. So, what did you think of that scene?
I felt bad for her in these first 2 episodes, cause she finally got what she wanted, but she was still stuck in a place that she couldn't escape from. Um, and in a way, she kind of became like the thing that her mother wanted her to be. Cause I remember like she was talking about like how she wanted her to be like this kind of like revolutionary instead of like this like journalist. So it's so funny how it worked out, and now she's become like this kind of like symbolic like Joan of Arc that the handmaids have kind of like follow now. So that's great, and I like that she also kind of like shared her revenge with the other handmaids too. So it's like she wasn't so selfish that she wanted Waterford for like herself, because she knew that this society fucked up so many other women. So I like that she was able to share that with with other women as well. She's so symbolic. It's like she's kind of like this like messiah of like this revolution of uh you know these women who are trying to reclaim their, I guess, identities. Um and now like you said, she's dealing with the repercussions of that, and it's hard because like she has a family, but at the same time she's also missing a part of herself, and that's Hannah. So it's like she's trying to come back to the way that things were with like Luke and Moira and now Nicole. But Gilead keeps like drawing her back in, and we also saw that apparently Emily went back to Gilead as well. So there's kind of like a conflict in her. It's like Gilead, like it's like the rape of Waterford wasn't the only thing that left an imprint on her. It's kind of like that society as a whole really like was deep down in her, and it kind of like can't leave her, because we in this whole episode and these first 2 episodes, she's kind of like reminiscing about like how things were back in the day. Like she was talking with like Rita, like, you remember when like she slapped you, like she just couldn't let it go. And it's so like tragic, like seeing her state of mind in this episode. um but yeah, tell me what your thoughts were for June.
Yeah, she reminds me she's like this type of commander herself, or like this captain. I'm the captain now. And she like doesn't want to be. It seemed like she just is, and a lot of people were looking up to her and they were really disappointed in that diner scene. And I think it's really like this complex situation that she has going on. A lot of these characters are very complex. Mad props to Luke too for being so supportive throughout. And Moira, it's actually interesting because she's like, and season 4, she was kind of like looking at June, like, June, you shouldn't be like this, like, don't talk like this and stuff, don't be so vengeful, right? And so we kind of see this here, but at least Moira is a little bit more sympathetic. One thing I think seemed a little bit unrealistic, but I think it's very symbolic, is the blood. So I want to get your thoughts on what you thought the blood represented in episode 1.
Yeah, so you and I kind of like shared the same idea when we were talking about it. So we saw like, well, first of all, her face is like all bloodied. That's the blood of Fred Waterford, and it's kind of like, and she leaves like she goes to this diner, and then she leaves like this blood stain on the glass, and then when she's driving, we kind of see like these blood stains on the window. So it's kind of like a motif throughout these two episodes. So it's kinda like for me, it's like she literally has blood on her hands in a way. It's like she's had this journey up to now that's just been like soaked in blood. It's literally like for her, you know, violence and is all she's known this whole, time that she's been living in Gilead. And like I said, it's like it's hard for her to break that shell, of peace, of her trying to come to terms with all of it. Um, and now that she killed, Fred, she even said like, "I loved it," right? So for her, it's like she doesn't want to be a murderer. She doesn't want her child to know that she became a murderer. But at the same time, it's like that this man was a monster to her too. So it's like for her that was like the sweetest victory that she's had in a while. But your thoughts, Akram?
Yeah, no, for sure. We were talking a little bit earlier, and we were saying like something like she cannot escape. It's like this trail, and it won't escape her. And even if she washes it off, it's the symbolism of that, right? Everyone knows, especially in Gilead, that a handmaid has killed this commander, and everyone's either proud of her, terrified of her, or disgusted by her. And I think that's really awesome to see, not like saying like, oh, that's great she killed somebody, but saying like, that's awesome to see because I want to see what can she do with that, right? Can that be used as a tool? Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I guess in the other side of this, we also have Serena Waterford, um, dealing with the death of her husband. So your thoughts on Serena? Because she kind of had this like foil with June in these two episodes, right? Like they were kind of like so similar, and like the way like they were kind of like thinking of it. They're kind of both afraid of each other too, like what they're capable of, because they're kind of like tied, I guess, to a string. Like I really feel like it's gonna end with them like fighting each other. But yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's interesting because Serena, her past life was like this writer, and June was this editor, and so it's crazy how like in the previous seasons, June helped out Serena like write something or like some speech or something like that, and they had like this type of bond that they could have really been great friends if this never had happened, and I think they even had commentary on that. And this season, it's very like it kind of reminds me of The Last of Us Part Two. It's like very like it's only a matter of time until I get you somehow. I have to like journey to get you now. Go back to the void, and face each other's personal voids. And, again, the thing with voids is it sucks everything. And that's the same way with revenge. And there's a lot of hate there. And I wonder if June, like, had she have Hannah in Canada, like in the house, like I wonder if June will still feel this way. Because I think Serena maybe could kind of like go easier than June, but um, maybe Serena will understand. I would imagine that Serena would understand how it feels like to have a child like taken away from you once she's given birth. I wonder if that's going to happen. I really am wondering that. Very, very fucking
Yeah, she's
complex.
yeah she's. I feel like she's kind of like turning into June in this season because she's becoming so powerless. She finally realizes what it's like for these women to not have a voice. Kind of like at the first episode, I thought it was so funny because she was a prisoner herself, and she put June through all that torture of being a prisoner in her household for all these years. So it's kind of like karma in a way.
Yeah.
Um, and with the funeral of her husband, she still has to deal with the politics, because the government of Gilead is a patriarchy. So it's like it's an irony because like she's snubbed by the very government that she created. So it's like I didn't know what she expected because like this is a government that women don't really have a voice. Unlike like even commanders' wives, there's still women. This is only a society that empowers men. Um, so I thought that was a bit ironic that she finally like came to terms with that. Um, but yeah, now that she's pregnant, I wonder if that makes her like more scared for herself. Like, well, obviously we saw at the end of episode 2, she kind of like threw this jab at June, where like she kind of like shows her like, I still have your daughter, right? So it's kind of like it's scary now because June killed her husband, so it's like, how is she going to react, right? Like, is Hannah in danger? Is she not? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Hannah's more in danger, not of being physically harmed, but Hannah will be in danger of figuring out who's her real mother. Because I got a feeling Serena might do something where, like, let me adopt Hannah, and I wonder how the men will like take that because she's single. But I think Serena has a lot more troubles coming her way because she's still single. So, and perhaps someone is going to take her baby because maybe they think, oh, you can't raise this baby by yourself. So it's really interesting. Like, what is her household going to look like later on, and will Hannah be a part of it for some reason? And would it be like this type of disdain for Hannah because she's June's?
Right.
It's very complex. And also we get a little bit of so we still see the aftermath that happened in season 4, and we see Nick, and I think it's really interesting because Nick kind of seems like this character now that like he's on the brink of actually leaving Gilead. So I wanted to know your thoughts. I think this happened in like episode, yeah, in the beginning of like episode 1, I believe. um
Yeah, Nick is kind of a complex character since season 1. Because we don't really know like which side he's really on. I mean, he is an eye. We found that on season 1, obviously, but it's like once he started getting closer to June, I feel like it became more personal, and he started like letting go of his morals, I guess. Because the whole reason he joined Gilead was because he just wanted a better life. But now that he has a child with June, I feel like that muddies his perceptions of Gilead. So it's kind of like he wants everything in his power to like he's using his position, I guess, as a way to protect June. But we saw also that Canadian guy, I think is what's his name, Mr. Tulio
Mark Tuello or something like that.
Tuello. Yeah, he tries to persuade Nick into like kind of like I guess being like the embassy's kind of like mole of like Gilead. Um, so I'm not sure what his future plans are because I feel like the only reason he did all that, with the whole trade for Fred, was because it was helping June. Because he's only helping June and his child, so I feel like anything else, is just kind of like side. Because he has a wife too in this
Yeah.
society too, so it's kind of like he has his own responsibilities in Gilead too, right? Not just June. So it's like he has to protect both assets. But what are your predictions for Nick?
For next episode.
For Nick?
Oh, for Nick. Yeah, I got a feeling, man. I don't know. It's hard because they could. I think Tuello's going to. He's the type of character that's like is for the greater good. I think for Canada more so, like, or just like maybe there's someone higher up that like he's really, Mark is like really good at what he's doing, and he's kind of sly, right? He's kind of playing both sides in a way, like using certain people as tools. And I think Nick was gonna be a tool. Like, it's actually better to keep Nick in Gilead than to actually like rescue him, quote unquote, right? Because you could get a lot more information, and I think that puts Nick in deep trouble. And Nick could possibly die because he is a factor that is complicated towards Luke's and June's relationship, especially with Nicole. So if he dies, though, will he be that martyr to really set off June and actually like go get the people that were at the diner that they left because they thought June was selfish at first? Like, will it be like this now revenge thing? Like, we're gonna come after you, and will that lead to like season 6? That's why I think he plays an important key role, more so as like a type of device. Yeah.
Yeah, great point. I mean, we also see, of course, I think the biggest takeaway from episode 2 was Janine
Oh
and Esther
yeah.
as well. So we kind of get this complex relationship between them. Like Esther is still very resistant to this way of life, and Janine is trying to like be like, "Oh, honey, it's okay. Just obey the law." But that was a crazy ending. What do you think of like that scene between like Esther and Janine?
Yeah, that was some Game of Thrones shit. That was I was like, "Oh, I didn't expect that." I did see McKenna Grace take like an Instagram photo and she was covered in blood and I thought that she was going to probably slit the throat of that wife. I think Naomi Putnam actually. I thought she was going to slit her throat, but it ended up being like she poisoned Janine. I feel sad for Janine because Janine's like this type of character where she's so beat up. Um she kind of reminds me like of like a beat up dog, right? It's hard to say, but it's that's how they treated her, and it's really a shame. So she's so scared. She doesn't want to fuck up anymore. She figured out like it's way easier just to let things slide, right? Because I could live a good life, you know. And Esther has a lot of like June's hateful side in her, rightfully so, because she was like raped so many times. You know, apparently. I don't. I hope Esther doesn't die though. Like, I hope there's like a silver lining to whatever action she did. Maybe like of Warren and Esther would like, I don't know, escape somewhere or something like that. It's like kind of like a ploy.
Mm.
I said of Warren, sorry, Jean. Maybe it's like a ploy, like they get like into some medical brigade or something like that. I don't know, and they stay
I mean,
there for
that
most of
looked.
the time.
I really thought they died in that scene. I thought they were eating like a Popeye's biscuit and like they choked or something.
That was the Popeye's biscuit. Yeah,
Right.
that's it was the
All
salt
this
that started
time.
the blood.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so well, it definitely wasn't planned because Janine was kind of like shocked about it.
Yeah.
And she was calling for help. But that's an interesting theory that you have because I don't think they would kill Janine off that suddenly because she's been with us for like 4 seasons already. So why are
Yeah.
you gonna kill her off like all of a sudden, right? That is true though. Like she is a very broken and damaged individual. She doesn't have like June's like courage, I guess. So she's just trying to make. And I also feel like it's because of her daughter too. That's why she's staying in the society because she wants to see her daughter, right? And that's why she's so close with the Putnams. Um, and I like that moment too, where like even like Mrs. Putnam like kind of like credited Janine too. She's like, oh, like I remember everybody in my prayers, even the people that gave me this child. So I thought that was sweet. Like this, like even though like a lot of people are toxic in Gilead, I feel like there's still like a level of humanity that they all kind of share. It's interesting. It's like, and even like Serena, like I mentioned, she's kind of like a paradox too. Like she now that she's a mother, I guess she can I guess empathize more with June. At the same time, you have to remember these are people that abuse their power. So it's like that's why I say like Serena's kind of like a paradox because she's like she she she's a pivotal instrument in the society that downplays women, but at the same time she is a woman with power. So it's kind of like she's an oxymoron to this government too.
Well, yeah, yeah. I think that's why she's gonna do something. She's probably gonna play a pivotal role to the deconstruction of Gilead, maybe because exactly she's an
Or
oxymoron.
reconstruction. Yeah.
Or reconstruction. Yeah, I wonder how it's going to end. I really do, and I wonder who's gonna play a pivotal role, or is everyone just gonna ride this roller coaster? You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But yeah, any other thoughts that you had for this episode?
No, I think that we pretty much covered it all. I can't wait till it comes out every, I believe, Wednesday, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
every Wednesday, I
every
believe.
Wednesday at
Yeah.
12 a.m. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool for us to review. So I can't wait to do the next episode. Do you have any other like predictions or anything you want to say to wrap it up?
I feel June is really gonna try this season. I think she's gonna go back to Gilead
Ooh,
because they kind of set this up with Hannah because that's the whole point. That she wanted to bring her family back, right? The question is like is Luke gonna go with her too? Like who's gonna go with her? Because I feel like she can't do this by herself, right? So I mean, she kind of missed the opportunity because like the other handmaids, they kind of felt like she was a coward because she didn't want to go back. So they're kind of like her army in a way. So I feel like she could like revolutionize them in a way. We still have other handmaids in Gilead too that she could maybe inspire. Uh, so yeah, I think she's kind of be like this kind of like symbol for women, in Gilead to like rise up and eventually like you know uh be independent, I guess. And Serena's kind of like a symbol too for Gilead too, right? In her own way. It's kind of like this clash of ideology. So yeah, really good, really powerful 2 episodes. I can't wait to see the rest of the season. I can't wait to catch up as well. So I'll be doing a lot of homework, I guess. Um, yeah, and I like when Tuello also said like don't let the bastards grind you down too. It's kind of like an homage to that Latin saying. Then damn, they fucked up Waterford too when they showed his body. I was like, damn.
Oh yeah.
I was like, damn, you could have admitted that. I get the point. Like, cause we saw like the side of his body. I was like, damn. And then they panned out. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. What are your any final thoughts for you or any predictions for next episode?
Yeah, guys. Yeah, I think for sure June is probably gonna go back to Gilead. I have a wild thought that I'll say real fast before I wrap up. What if actually they make June and Luke, and this is gonna sound stupid, but what if they actually make them like members of Gilead? If they actually come back, maybe it's like some weird thing that they're gonna do. For some reason, there's something that's gonna happen with Joseph Lawrence that he's gonna make them like husband and
Mm,
wife in Gilead. I wonder, that's a really crazy thing, but I wonder if that's a way how like she has the power now, and like there's these two houses. There's the Joy, Serena Joy, and then there's also June Osborne, and they're gonna fight each other secretly,
mm.
and that'll lead to season 5. But season 6. But that's stupid.
It's like a
But
Cold
maybe,
War kind of.
right?
I could see it.
Maybe I wonder.
Yeah.
But everyone, that is our review for episode 1 and 2 of Handmaid's Tale season 5. If you guys haven't watched it yet, go ahead, check it out, and then come back to this review. And please, if you made it to the end, please like, subscribe, and share. And also check out our other reviews. We're currently doing She-Hulk. We're going to review that tomorrow. Apparently Daredevil is going to be there. I got a feeling it's going to be ass, but you know our thoughts already about that. We have a lot of cool things coming up too. We have a lot of reviews and a lot of revisited stuff too, so I cannot wait to do that. Yeah, Dylan, please.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Please follow the channel on any platform you're listening to us on. Obviously, YouTube. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We just did a review for Cyberpunk Edge Runners with our friend Jerome, so that was really fun to do. Check that out if you haven't already. We have an Avatar Revisited episode coming up as well. We also have Andor. The first 3 episodes will be coming out next week, so we'll be covering that as well. So thank you guys so much, and until then, under his eye.
Praise be.
May the Lord open.
There's so many.